Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm an executive job search and leadership coach, as well as the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. And that's a site where job hunters can get curated information about job hunting, plus ask me questions regularly as part of helping them find their next position. And I thought of doing a video today that really talks about the hiring process, what isn't working, how it's breaking down, stuff along those lines. Because, statistics basically say, I'll just simply say that there's a statistic I saw not long ago that whether you're a job hunter or a hiring manager, more than 70% of you really hate the process of hiring. So you start off with that premise, and then within 18 months, more than half of the respondents really regretted taking the job or hiring the person that's on board. In other words, things break down. There's a disconnect often between what is being sought in the way of experience and what they're getting. As a matter of fact, one statistic said 46% of new hires leave a job within their first year. Catch that one. Almost 50% employee turnover. And when you start looking at engagement numbers, which is, I'll simply say employee engagement is the lowest common denominator. Now, in the U.S., the engagement rate is a little over 30%, which basically means more than 2/3 of the workforce really doesn't care. They're not engaged in work. They're going through the motions versus 1/3 who care. So they're involved with their work. And are they excellent at it? No, but they're trying. So 2/3 of your workforce isn't really happy, and they're basically acting out by being oblivious. So, you pause for a second and say, what's wrong? Why is this not working? And I want to start off in the hiring process, but then go to the management process. So from the hiring perspective, often there's a disconnect between what you're looking for and who you actually hire. Now, one of my pet peeves about hiring is the notion that hiring managers are involved with hiring for fit, yet have no objective measure for how people will fit in. So they go by gut instinct. This person reminds me of so-and-so. And the result winds up being that, they forget a basic fact. And the basic fact is everyone in interviewing is on good behavior. You're on good behavior. If you're an angry individual, you're putting on a good show. If you're a grumpy person, you're putting on a good show, not to reveal that. And the job hunter is also putting on a good show. Because from their perspective, they want to put on a good face and give the impression that they're competent and they've got the right skills and they're a nice person who you can know, like, and trust and all that sort of happy stuff. So what do you expect? You're not being yourself, and they're not being themselves, and that's where you're judging from. Each of you is on good behavior, and it's no wonder that the notion of fit doesn't work, because you haven't evaluated your own team objectively using test measures, and you're not evaluating the character of the potential hire that way either. So lots of places where it breaks down, and I've done videos about the mistake in hiring where a hiring manager directs someone to interview someone for them to evaluate their objective qualifications for a job, but doesn't really offer enough guidance about what they want to be evaluated for. So asinine questions get pulled in a game of can you top this, even though the skill involved in answering the asinine question may be used once every 5 years. So there's nonsense in the evaluation process. But here's the other fun thing. Once they're on board and once everyone is getting to be themselves, people are treated almost like they're robots. So work is tossed over the transom to them. There's no real relationship that's developed between the hiring manager and their staff. Employees start to recognize that they're basically commodity workers like they were before, and they get annoyed and frustrated. They're not treated like human beings or individuals who are special. Great story I read from Southwest Airlines, which is consistently one of those firms that people want to want to go to work for because they really have an employee culture that respects them. And one of these stories I read basically involved how the firm responds to every customer service letter, and they try to make things right. And one customer wrote to Southwest and basically said, I don't like the fact that we all board en masse and that there's no first class seating, and that the food, I don't like peanuts, and why you serve. And she was listing like 5 or 6 things that she really found annoying, including that the people are so excessively friendly to everyone. So it's like 5 or 6 things that she was complaining about, and the people in customer service didn't really know how to respond. So they passed it up the chain of command and eventually got to Herb Kelleher, the president of Southwest Airlines' desk. And he wrote back to the individual, and I want you to hear this because I think it's really important to get this. He wrote back to her and said, we'll miss you as a customer. Catch that one. It was more important for him to maintain the integrity of the culture, which is high employee engagement, care for the employee, because he doesn't believe that the customer is always right. He believes that the employee, if backed up, will want to do things right. So he'll try to help employees do well, hire people who are motivated to do well so that they go out and do the best that they can. And yeah, they make mistakes. We all have bad days. We all make mistakes. But by backing up his employees and telling this individual, we'll miss you, he preserves the culture. How does that apply to you as a hiring manager? What are you doing to show your people that you really care about them? Seriously. What do you give them a review? And my favorite story about reviews, it comes from a coach named Lance Secretan, who tells a wonderful story, and very simply says, imagine a process where every 6 months you sit down with your wife or husband or partner and say, it's 6 months now. It's time for me to give you a review on how you're doing. Do you think you'd be living there very long if that was the part of the process? In employment, this is considered a good thing to do. To engage in this, we're going to give you feedback on how you're doing, the good stuff and the places. Instead of supporting them all the way along the process, backing them up, helping them feel like they're important to your organization, stuff along those lines. So my encouragement to you is to think, I don't want to say creatively, but think like a human being here for a second. And talk to people like people, particularly the ones that you work for. On the hiring process, stop putting on an act and stop expecting them to put an act. Get clear with your people about what you want them to evaluate for and how you want them to evaluate for it. When you get feedback from your people about qualifications, don't ask, did you like them? Ask them, are they qualified? If not, how so? If so, what were their strengths? Where do they show up not quite as good? Just get that information. And then once they're on board, do things not to engage them, because engagement is this nonsense term in my mind, but think in terms of what you can do in order to help people feel as though you really care about them. Hope you found this helpful and have a great day. Take care.